He will flip-flop on any issue. He can be bought and sold. The dude's a Logan Paul is a and I will say that here publicly. I'll fight him for free.
Are there bad there?
I don't know. I don't know if there are. I don't know if you'll be able to find them or if they'll talk to you. The point is, Aiden said
you know who the f I am?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
So you're telling me a girl's your bought over me?
Is that SpongeBob on your t-shirt?
Maybe you have all the fucking time in the world to sit on the internet, my friend. But when I make a statement, I don't have time to say, in my personal experience, I don't believe women can drive. However, I understand that some women can drive, and I'm not saying all women can't drive, and I know women who can drive, but in my personal experience, the bad driving I've seen was most likely committed by women that I don't talk like a geek. I say women can't drive. Now, if that upsets geeks like you, cool, whatever. Because geeks, I don't give a I've asked you a question, and I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you a question.
Correct, but you're not the boss here, because I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you the questions.
Correctly, and I'm telling you.
You get to decide the answers.
No, we're equal here. I've allowed you into my house. You don't come here with a position of authority. I'm doing you the favor as Legacy Media, giving you relevance by speaking to you, and I'm telling you now, this Sophie, which the BBC has invented, which there's no face of, nobody knows who she is.
The BBC did not invent
Of course not, and because you never invent anything. And she's not filed criminal charges against me. What are we talking about here?
Who quits the gym to take drugs professionally? You are as stupid as people come. Do you understand, Pudgy? There's no resistance in you.
You're not going to
sitting around with your contract to talk all day in your penthouse.
Now you've laid it out and it offended you. I understand.
I didn't say it offended.
Okay, cool.
I just read you the things.
You read things that you said they could be offensive, and some people are offended.
Well, some people definitely were offended.
Absolutely. That's fine.
And honestly, I think some of the things you said were genuinely offensive and misogynist.
Okay, so they offended you. Like I said earlier, so they offended you, which is fine. I said they offended you, you interrupted me, and now you're saying they offended you, which is fine. And
Welcome to 1 hour of Andrew Tate roasting, embarrassing, and destroying people. There's a lot of clips in here, a lot of them that I loved, and we're gonna start it off with him destroying none other than Logan Paul.
First things first, I want to make it very, very clear that Logan Paul is absolutely and utterly a tool of the Matrix. He's a bought and sold individual with no soul. He doesn't stand up for anything, and he doesn't mean anything he says. He gets pieces of paper from Susan or whoever else telling him what he's allowed to say on his channel to retain it.
You believe that?
100%. Not only do I believe it, he's proved it himself. He will flip-flop on any issue. He can be bought and sold. The dude's a bitch. Logan Paul is a bitch, and I will say that here publicly. If anyone wants, I'll fight him for free. The guy's an idiot.
No money needed to fight Logan Paul.
Logan Paul doesn't believe in any of the things he says. Logan Paul is a man. If you ever were unfortunate enough to consume his content, I get sent clips of it all the time by people mocking him. As soon as something comes out, whether it's Harry Styles wearing a dress, whether it's Lil Nas twerking on the devil, whether it's this, he just sits there and goes, yeah, this is great. Yeah, this is great. He is a talking piece. He is the mouthpiece for the agenda. The people have come along, people who are trying to force a narrative, and they said, look, we need to have some degree of control over the exact demographic that Tate has control over. We're going to use Logan Paul and attempt to use him. And he sits there and just purports the bullshit points of view that the whole Hollywood establishment want him to purport. He doesn't believe in the things he said. He's told what to say. And because he was canceled before and it emotionally destroyed him, he sat on camera crying his eyes out like a little girl instead of being a man about it. He is so fearful of the mob and so scared of being canceled again that he's going to sit there and say anything he's told. He doesn't believe that shit. Before I was canceled, him and his boyfriend Mike did endless videos supporting me, laughing about me, saying how funny I was, tagging me on Instagram, inviting me places, etc. The second I'm canceled, they flip reverse it and shit themselves because they don't want to get canceled too. They are children. That's all they are. So Logan Paul's a bitch. We told all the news to say Tate's bad, and all of his fans are 18 to 25-year-old men. Who do we have on YouTube who obeys us like a little cuck who speaks to 18 to 25-year-old men? Logan Paul. Okay, Logan, here's your piece of paper. Do you want to get canceled again, Logan? No, you don't want to get canceled, do you? No, Mom.
You're saying a call like that was made?
100%. The dude's a bitch. He 180'd from a super fan to talking about my rhetoric being dangerous
but there's
in 24 hours.
There's a difference between you saying who you think he is versus you making the speculation that he got called by somebody to say, here's a narrative we want you to take, or else we'll silence you.
Well, Logan is not capable of independent thought. So if someone didn't give him the narrative, he didn't think it up himself. The dude's an empty vessel. He says what he is told to say. Somebody, somewhere, told Logan what to say and what stance to take. We can argue whether it was a social media company, whether it was his manager who was fearful, whether whatever. But somebody sat with Logan and said, look, Tate's getting a lot of smoke. You were cool with him. Your boyfriend Mike was cool with him. He's getting a lot of smoke right now. You're going to bitch out. And he sat there and said, yes, sir. Yes, I will. Because he has no character or no integrity. If it was all the other way around, let's imagine he was getting canceled. And I truly believed it was unfair. I'd sit there on my own platform and say, this is bullshit. Because I'm not bought, sold, and owned. He's an owned individual. So he's always going to say what he is told to say. He's always going to sit on podcasts, speaking to the youth, promoting Harry Styles wearing a dress, saying that it's great that Lil Nas twerks on the devil in real time for our children to digest, and then say, I'm dangerous to the youth, because that's what he's been told to say. Logan Paul has absolutely no capability for independent thought, and he has no character as a man.
The biggest problem with Logan versus me is that I'm a completely clean athlete and he's on a shitload of steroids. So for him to fight me, either I have to go on a shitload of steroids and become a super heavyweight because I'm genetically gifted, or he has to pass a drugs test. So if he wants to fight for real and he'll keep pissing in a cup and he'll lay off the steroids, then you're sure I'll smash him up.
What rule set would you prefer?
It doesn't really matter to me. I mean, obviously, if we were to fight kickboxing or K1, I'd completely destroy him. Boxing is good for the fans. I think boxing translates very well to the fans because even MMA, although I think UFC shows are more entertaining, you still need a degree of knowledge to respect jiu-jitsu, whereas every idiot understands a punch in the face, right? So boxing translates very well for the fans. So I'm happy to box the guy. I mean, he's a big guy. He's a strong guy. Like I said, he's on a bunch of juice. If he lays off the juice and he wants to fight clean, then sure, I'll beat his ass. I mean, there's no problem. I'm not past it yet.
What about a street fight? What would happen?
Well, that's a good point because, you know, it's interesting. Street fights are completely different than anything that happens inside of any kind of rule set. Yeah. I think a lot of people have this misunderstanding where they think, oh, yeah, you're a pro fighter, so on the street. I'm like, yeah, okay, the street's great, and obviously you have an advantage on the street. But I've also seen, and I won't say names, I've seen world champion fighters get sparked on the street. You get sucker punched, you get sucker punched. Yeah. I've seen dudes get jumped. I've seen guys whose names I can say, which I won't, and everyone would know them, get knocked out clean, cold, ice on the street just because they were in a club and they were arguing with some guy and bang, sucker. Fuck. It's messy. And especially I'm telling you guys now, especially in Europe and England, man, they don't give, in England, they don't care. It's different. So violence is very different than fighting. So I like to think that I would never have a fair street fight. Let's put it that way. Because you have to win, right? Because it's life or death at that point.
I'm not Logan Paul. I don't do pump and dump crypto scams. I'm not Jake Paul with his lying NFTs. I'm not these clowns. I'm a person of integrity who doesn't need money. I will not let a single person who believes in me lose money because of my words. I refuse to sit here and sell you guys to gamble. I refuse to sit here and sell you trash energy drinks. I refuse to sit and sell you bad food. I refuse to sit and sell crypto pump and dumps. I refuse to sell any bull. I will not sell my soul. That's it. If you believe in Tate, your life is going to get better. Every single one of my fans is going to have a better life for listening to me. Their mind's going to be stronger. Their wallet's going to be stronger. Their body's going to be stronger. I want people to walk down the street and look at a guy who's clearly winning in life, getting out of a Lamborghini with a bunch of muscles and a hot bitch and go, that is an Andrew Tate fan. Yeah. I don't want anything negative attached to my name. I will not sell my soul for money.
Why didn't you write to me when I was in jail? And why did you out when the enemies of me and progress, agents of the Matrix, attacked you? I woke up every day waiting for your letter. You know that, inside my jail cell.
No, you did.
I woke up every day thinking Aiden's going to write to me. There's no way he's going to leave me here by myself with the cockroaches, not in solitary confinement. He's my friend.
Sorry. Yo, Andrew, but I asked Luke. I said, Luke.
And the letter never came.
I asked Luke.
Came. Ever. 3 months I was in that room. I didn't go out. I didn't have yard time, nothing. 3 months in a room. I encourage you to go to your bathroom without your phone and sit in your bathroom for an hour. Without your phone, without a laptop, just sit in your bathroom for an hour. Try 3 months. Waiting for your letter that never came.
Damn. I actually feel really bad, bro. On God, I do.
I mean, my feelings. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Let me get this timeline right. I go to jail. You shave your head.
Yes.
And then you don't write to me, but you are defending me.
Yes.
But then you stop going gym.
Stop going gym because I got addicted to liquid heroin. Known as promethazine codeine, which is lean.
You cannot give up something constructive to do something stupid.
Gotcha.
Giving up the gym to begin taking liquid heroin.
Okay, when you put
probably the most fucking stupid decision I've ever heard of anybody taking in their life. In fact, I'm going to state this now as a matter of fact in history for the internet. I think you hold the record for making the most stupid life choice I have, me personally, Top G, ever been witness to hearing. Ever.
Wait.
Nobody on earth, nobody has told me a more stupid decision. I decided to stop going to the gym so I could focus on consuming liquid heroin. You are an idiot, Aiden.
I needed to hear that.
Explain to me. It's Monday morning.
Okay.
You're going to the gym, right?
Yes.
What happens on Tuesday when you change career path? Explain to me. What happens? I need to understand this now. You're going to the gym, you're getting in shape, you're looking better, and then you decide to become a drug addict. Please explain. I want to make sure this doesn't happen to me. So I need to understand how this terrible circumstance can befall a completely logical, intelligent adult human. You are a fucking dumbass. You are as stupid as people come. Who quits the gym to take drugs professionally? You are as stupid as people come. What do you do to make you proud of yourself? And what do you do to make others proud of you? Tell me something in the last 48 hours you've done that's worthy of pride. You've slept, jerked off, talked shit on the internet, text some stupid hoes in Miami or wherever you are. Have you done anything else with your life?
No. Talk to you.
If you didn't take drugs and you worked your ass off in the gym, of course I'll always be able to destroy you for the rest of your life because there's echelons in life and I'm a predator and you're not. That's fine. But I'd still respect you. If you tried your very best to become the best version of yourself you could, I'd still respect you. I'm a lion. I'm a lion. You're a rabbit. But if you became the strongest rabbit you could possibly be, I'd still respect you. I'd be like, oh, that's a rabbit. Yeah, but at least he's trying. Of course, I'll always fucking rip you apart, but that's not what it's about. It's about the fact that you're doing the absolute best you can with the very feeble body God gave you.
Hey, if I went 365 in a boxing gym, best shape of my life, learn how to fight like I'm Floyd Mayweather or, Israel Adesanya, I'm knocking you the fuck out, bro. Do you understand? I know you did kickboxing. I know you did. But to say that hard work doesn't beat talent when talent fails to work hard, come on, bro.
Work hard?
I'm not saying that. But if I'm working...
What are you even talking about when you just said makes no sense? When you just said makes no sense, it's a logic fail.
Andrew,
you would work hard, and I would work hard, and I would destroy you.
If I'm working harder than you, boxing and getting in the gym and really learning
how... Now we're going to talk about the fantasy of Aiden Ross working harder than me. Is this in between your drug episodes? It's on your time off? Shut up. No. It's small things, even grip strength. I could crush your neck. I could just get hold of any part of your body and just squash it. Do you understand, Pudgy? There's no resistance in you.
You're not going to...
Whatever I get hold of, I would just fucking decimate with pure grip strength. My knuckle is bigger than your fucking brain.
All right, listen.
I would smash you to fuck.
No. Listen to me. Hey, bald prisoner who dropped the fucking soap. Listen to me. I'm not Pudgy. I'm not Pudgy anymore. I'm not. Okay.
You know why I laughed when you said bald prisoner? Because I think many levels deeper than you at a speed which you can't possibly fathom.
Oh, I laughed because I thought you liked the joke.
When you said bald prisoner and I laughed, you thought I laughed at the fact you called me a bald prisoner. No, because I think much deeper than you.
Well,
I laughed at the fact that you, while debating with me about the fact that I couldn't destroy you, decided to call me a bald prisoner. Calling someone a bald prisoner is basically saying you're going to beat the fuck out of me. Do you want to fight a bald prisoner?
No, I didn't say that.
Why did you call me one? You just admitted you're going to lose. That's why I laughed. I laughed because I thought 3 levels deeper than you, even though you said the words. You're too stupid to even fucking fully comprehend the sentence you're coming out your mouth.
No.
When I heard you call me a bald prisoner, I thought, yes, I'm going to fucking kill this guy. You don't stand a chance, Aiden. And I can't wait for it to happen.
I don't fight fair. Let me tell you what I do. If I'm in a street fight, no, you're laughing.
When have you ever been in a street fight? Don't even fucking lie to the chat. When have you ever been sitting around with your bullshit contract to talk shit all day in your fucking penthouse? Since when have you been in a street fight? What have you ever you didn't even grow up like I grew up. You never had a fight in your life. What are you even talking about? Street fight. You were talking the biggest crock of shit you perhaps ever spoken. You've never had a street fight. Who the fuck are you talking to?
Well, I've seen a lot.
No, what street fight? Tell us the story of your street fight. Tell me the guy you knocked out. Where was it? What happened, bro? Tell me, bro. Come on, bro. So Aiden is walking down the street. Aiden Ross is walking down the street. There's girls with him, both sides. Someone comes up and says to his girls, "You're ugly." He says, hey, bro, I may look like a pudgy loser. I may be high on heroin that I've been drinking. But you don't want to mess with me, this huge dude, this big bald prisoner. You don't want to mess with me. And the girl says, Aiden, don't do it. He underestimates you. Am I right so far?
Yeah.
Then he tried to hit you and you like slipped it because you're so fast, like a cat. Then you knocked him clean out, didn't you? Southside Chicago. Yeah?
Yes.
You're an idiot.
Excuse me? I'm not an idiot. Okay.
Tell me your street fight story. Go on.
Hey, I've never been in a fight before, obviously, in my life.
You just said if I'm in a street fight, tell me what happens. You just told me what happens in street fights. Tell me about your street fights. I want to know now. I thought I knew all about violence.
No, I did.
I knew all about violence.
Listen.
Everywhere.
I can explain.
Professional fights.
No, listen.
A whole bunch of shit. I thought I knew about violence. Please educate me, Aiden.
Let him talk.
So I'm half black, half white, right? That's my ethnicity.
Wait,
so we understand my ethnicity. I made a joke an hour ago with one of my cousins because half my family's black, half my cousin's white, and he said he wanted to go free diving. It's where you dive down in the water and you go deep with no scuba equipment with the sharks or some shit. And I said, bro, that's what white people do that shit. I'm too brown for that. I'm not going with the sharks. I just made a joke. There. Oh no. Cancel me. Who gives a fuck? When I make a statement, bro, listen, when I make a statement, maybe you do, maybe you have all the fucking time in the world to sit on the internet, my friend. But when I make a statement, I don't have time to say, in my personal experience, I don't believe women can drive. However, I understand that some women can drive, and I'm not saying all women can't drive, and I know women who can drive, but in my personal experience, the bad driving I've seen was most likely committed by women. That I don't talk like a fucking geek. I say women can't drive. Now, if that upsets geeks like you, cool, whatever. Because geeks, I don't give a fuck. That's what I say. If it upsets people, tough. That's my personal experience. You're gonna have to get the fuck over it. Doing to society. I spoke about it on Aiden Ross on his podcast, and I spoke about how the internet as a whole has changed the world. I'm old enough to see it, and one of the ways it's changed the world is when there are certain beliefs, there are certain paradigms which are not allowed to be punctured, certain parameters which are set by the matrix in which you must pretend certain things are true. People ignore their own eyes and their own ears because they are afraid of upsetting the matrix. And my point is that a person like you, and I mean this with respect, I'm not here to argue with you, this is a professional debate. A person like you whose entire income, personality, his importance, his ego, everything relies on a Twitch account. If you lose it, you ain't shit. If you lose it, you ain't shit. And the problem is that you could be in 10 car crashes driven by 10 different women, and you will still not come here and say women can't drive as well as men because you are afraid. You are not non-biased. You are sitting here inside of parameters that you must conform to or you don't exist. I don't give a fuck. That's the difference between you and me. That's why I say things other people don't.
I don't know what it means, the last part. I mean, you talk about the matrix and the systems or whatever the fuck, but the only reason why you're relevant or cool in the real world is because you have money. Talk about the matrix, the fucking currency, and you think you're the top G because of that, and it makes you more important than other people who have value to society.
I'm not only the top G because I have money. In fact, I think I talked about this with Aiden Ross as well. I talked about how money is an amplifier. Money alone will not make you significant or important. I talked about how money will amplify. I was the before I was rich. I was the man before I was rich, and then I got rich on top. That's it's amplified me. That's all it's done. It hasn't changed who I am. There's plenty of people with lots of money who ain't shit.
Okay, so because of the vehicle of my message is Twitch, it's devalidated.
It's not that it's devalidated at all, my friend. I think that Twitch is a fantastic, and you're meeting lots and lots of people, and I'm here on Twitch as well myself. My point is that you exist inside of parameters. The people who rely on the system will always fight to defend the system. The parameters are set in a way in which you cannot be completely and utterly honest, even if your personal experience tells you so. We don't even have to talk about driving. We can talk about anything. We can talk about the last 3 years where you walked around and didn't see a single sick person, and you had to pretend that you were supposed to be scared inside of your house because the parameters have told you if you say anything else, you lose your entire life. And your life is online. This is the reality. Not most people are not allowed to say what they think.
Okay, this works both ways, though. It's not because you have harsher takes and crazier takes that this doesn't apply to you. I feel like you preach to the choir to fucking incels. Literally, that's like your bread and butter.
Wait, isn't that chat?
So by extent, you try not to go against these opinions because you're gonna lose these people. Like that's just how it is.
So that's an interesting point of view, and we'll go into it in a second. But first things first, I want to clarify because, as I said, I'm a professional, and this is a professional debate. My takes are not harsh or extreme. Every single man, every single sports club, every single football team, every single group of men sitting around having a drink will make a joke about how women can't drive. Every single fucking one. So to sit here and pretend I have some extreme view is bullshit. It may be extreme on the internet where people are afraid.
I broke internet, just lagged out.
Oh Oh my God, this is getting really good too.
There's a guy called Adam22. Once again, I have no idea who this man is. I just saw on Twitter yesterday that he was with a porn star who'd never done a male scene. They got married, and like a week after their marriage, she did her first male scene with some random dude. And he's on a podcast defending it.
Did his wife have sex with somebody else?
Correct. Why? Like, this is the level you can, but this is what the Matrix wants from you as a man. They want the woman in charge and the man below with no backbone, because if the woman's in charge, they can emotionally affect her. They can scare her. You can scare a woman easier than you can scare a man. A man. A real man's hard to scare. A woman you can make afraid of the vaccine, right? Be afraid, COVID, be scared. If she's in charge of the household, I would argue in nearly any household where the female was dominant, everyone's vaccinated. I would argue that point hard.
Of course.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I would argue it. I don't have the statistics. It's just logic to me.
Release some greenhouse gases. I'm obviously a stranger to online controversy. It's not something I often do. But now, the mainstream press is commenting on the fact that I was informing Greta that my very extensive car collection with internal combustion engines, which run on dead dinosaurs, have an enormous emission profile. And she replied by telling me her own email address. Greta's email address is, I have small dick energy. Why would that be your own email address, Greta? Strange. I mean, obviously I don't want to assume her gender. It's 50-50, but it is what it is. I'm not actually mad at Greta. Please bring me pizza and make sure that these boxes are not recycled. Thank you. So I'm not actually mad at Greta, right? Because she doesn't realize she's been programmed. She doesn't realize she's a slave of the Matrix. She thinks she's doing good. Someone has sat her down and convinced her to try and convince you to beg your government to tax you into poverty to stop the sun from being hot. And then, because I called her out on it, the global Matrix got this bot farm to like and retweet and all this bot commenting to try and pretend that her telling me that she has a small dick and her own email address somehow teaches me a lesson. Welcome to a new episode of The Clown Show. But now I know, at least, that Greta, with her little hate-filled face, bitter, sitting somewhere without the heating on, in the cold, little hat, shivering, views my tweets, which is going to make my Twitter account far more fun into eternity.
I do not think that the problems with the public perception of Meghan have anything to do with her skin color whatsoever, especially the fact that she isn't even particularly dark. I find it very strange. A lot of the people who are standing up for her, I've seen many liberals, black liberals from all around the world who are standing up for her saying the race card, the race card. Why would you allow somebody to use the race card when they're not genuinely suffering from it? Doesn't that disrespect all the people who actually suffer from genuine racism?
Well, I think it does.
So do I.
Because there are so many contradictions in that Netflix series, because Meghan actually says the only time she ever experienced racism was someone in LA calling her mum, who actually does have much darker skin than her, the N-word. But actually, Meghan said she had experienced no racism herself, yet she enters the royal family and all of a sudden it helps her victim narrative to suggest that she's been a victim of racism. And actually, if you saw her wedding, I mean, the British public completely embraced her.
Well, if the British public had a problem with race, I don't understand how we have a prime minister who's darker skinned than her, a mayor of London who's darker skinned than her. It doesn't even make sense on any level. I would state that England is one of the least racist nations on the planet. And this is one of the things that's kind of detrimental. The people who are obsessed with race and obsessed with racism, constantly calling it out, they in many ways speak it into existence, because most of us, like you said, like yourself, like myself, we don't see color. We treat people with respect. And if somebody's a likable person, they're a likable person. And if they're a dislikable person, they're a dislikable person. And their color has very little to do with it. It's just kind of ironic that nobody else wants to stand up and point out the glaringly obvious, that nobody looks at her and thinks, wow, look how dark skinned you are. So it's kind of incredible that this is the angle she's going down, and nobody else seems to want to mention it, and I don't understand why.
Okay, mini break time. I'm going to add some thoughts on these clips, but if you want to jump right to the next clips, you can just go to the timestamp I have right here or click on the bar. It'll be there. Or you can watch the beautiful background video that I have for you guys to watch while I talk. First off, comment down below your favorite clip so far. If you can remember one that just made you stand out. Was it anything from the intro? Was it him with Aiden Ross, him with XQC, him with, I have so many clips in here, I'm checking. Him going after Logan Paul, or even the little Adam 22 one, that was kind of quick. I don't even know which one to pick. The Logan Paul one was much more serious. It wasn't like that comedic. It was in a way. I mean, it was true. Like, a lot of people didn't want to say it back then. The way he was going at Aiden Ross so many different times was always entertaining to me, because and Aiden can take it. That's the best part. Watching his videos, it's not like he gets so offended like some of these other guys and start spazzing on him. He spazzes on Andrew, but in a fun way. And then you have XQC over here, who he was, I don't know, he's just like, I can't stand the guy. He stutters, which is just his issue he has, but then he tries to talk so fast and try to give you these liberal point of views about, oh, you can't say this, Andrew, you can't say, Andrew just, no, hold on. I'm gonna destroy you with logic. That was fire. And then the Greta Thunberg thing, not only was it funny, and you guys can let me know if I missed any clips so far about Aiden Ross or about these other guys that maybe I could add in the next video. But the Greta Thunberg thing was so good because not only was he comedic in it about her having her hat on with the heat off and just freezing, but also about the truth of all these probably bots that help boost up her tweets when she attacks Andrew and destroys Andrew, which is all what it says online when she went after him and then he went back at her. It's just like, oh, Greta destroyed Andrew Tate. Greta destroyed Andrew Tate. Wrong. But there's this public perception on Twitter and everything else that, you know, this teenage girl just destroyed this extremely eloquently speaking man who knows how to communicate and roast people like nobody else. You know, but she destroyed him with a little tweet just because of the amount of likes and stuff that are out there. Ridicolo. That's Italian for ridiculous, I think. Been studying. Yeah, I thought that was really bad, but comment down below what your favorite clip was so far. Mine was probably funny-wise. I love when he goes to Aiden Ross. That shit's hilarious. Yeah. Next, we have my favorite clip of all, though. Favorite clip out of all of them. It was previewed in the intro/hook, the first 2 minutes where I gave you guys some previews, is when he goes after Neon and his SpongeBob shirt. I'm gonna replay it right here and then get into the rest of him roasting him. Let's go.
Are there bad bitches there?
I don't know. I don't know if there are. I don't know if you'll be able to find them or if they'll talk to you. The point is, Aiden said
you know who the fuck I am?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
So you're telling me a girl's fucking your bald ass over me?
Is that SpongeBob on your t-shirt?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Why am I talking to these children?
I gotta take my
You gotta take
okay, you take your inhaler, G. That'll turn the girls on. Right. Aiden, while he's busy with his inhaler because he can't seem to handle air without assistance, you tell me if you're going to do something for me like you promised you would, or if you're simply lying.
Okay, I said by the end of the year. No,
that's not. Why by the end of the year? I need you to go next week. Just admit you're not going to do it. Just admit you're not going to do it, or I'll book the flights right here on stream. You going to go or not?
Okay, so what do you I have to meet someone, pick something up, and then leave? Okay, you know what? Can I have somebody do it for me?
No. You and a friend will go to Santiago, then Argentina next week, yes or no?
Okay, so
how fucking killed there.
Wait, it's bad out there?
Yes, they kidnap and like cut your body parts off and shit there, bro. It's setting you up.
Wait,
they won't cut. Bro, they won't cut yours off. They can't mess with you. You got a SpongeBob t-shirt on and an inhaler. They're scared of you, G. Don't worry about that. You just turn up and you tell them who's boss. You tell them. That's right. You tell them. You say you're a streamer and you play video games all day.
You're a disgrace to the
Muslim. You let them know who the man is. You let them know who the man is.
The favorite tell yourself. You dumb bitch. You're in house arrest, you pussy. You fucking loser. You and your dirty ass brother. Fuck him too, dumb bitch. Look at you just sitting there, you bald refugee. Fuck you.
All right, hold on. Everyone.
I don't know why you're laughing.
All right.
Should young men, though, all aspire to be like you?
Should young men aspire to work very hard, have no criminal record, become multimillionaires, protect and provide for the women close to them, be sovereign so they can stand up and have their own points of view in face of cancellation, be able to not be mentally intimidated when they go on national TV and there's traps set up for them? Yeah, I believe that confident, strong men who stand up and protect and provide for women are a good thing for the world and a good force for the world. And I don't think that I put a magic spell on anybody. I think there's a whole bunch of men in the world who understands my value. And if men grow up to be like me, you're gonna have a whole bunch of people with no criminal record, dedicated athletes, who protect and provide for the people close to them, are fantastic for the economy. And I'm certainly not the worst influence out here, Piers. You have Lil Nas twerking on the devil on music videos, which our children are digesting. You have drill artists singing about stabbing people to death in the middle of a knife crime epidemic. You have rabid psychopaths on whether the right or the left announcing violence on the other side. You have all these insanities in the world. And because I sit here and say, yeah, perhaps, now you've laid it out and it offended you, I understand.
I didn't say it offended me.
Okay, cool.
I just read you the things.
You read things that you said they could be offensive and some people are offended.
Well, some people definitely were offended.
Absolutely. That's fine.
And honestly, I think some of the things you said were genuinely offensive and misogynist.
Okay, so they offended you.
And
like I said earlier, so they offended you, which is fine. I said they offended you, you interrupted me, and now you're saying they offended you, which is fine. But the point I'm trying to make is this: I'm not the devil. There are certainly worse people than me, and
I don't disagree
and they exist.
With
that. And I'm saying that my core tenets for the people who don't understand me are self-accountability, so I'm accountable for everything I've ever said. My core tenets are responsibility, so I'm responsible for everything I've said. My core tenets are traditional masculinity to a degree, which involves protecting and providing for women. And I'll make another point here that needs to be said. The number of women who have stood up and stuck up for me is ignored. Thousands of women are making videos saying, I've met Andrew Tate, he's such a nice guy. I wish I had a man like Andrew Tate who felt responsible to protect and provide for me. You know what? I do belong to my husband, that's why I married him and I love him. We ignore the thousands of women who stood up and stood by me and said everything I said is true. And we're taking a very vocal minority who have taken things I've said and are pretending to be absolutely and utterly devastated by them for some reason.
All right, time out.
I don't believe depression as a clinical disease is real, no.
Really?
If you feel depressed, I disagree that you cannot affect it and change your life and take control and fix yourself and feel happier. I disagree with that.
Do you think
I refuse to accept that there are people out there who cannot become happy, contented individuals. I refuse to accept we live in a world where God has created people who, no matter how hard they work and how good their life becomes, can't be happy. I don't accept that. I accept that the universe is a very giving place and that God loves all of us. And if you try your best and you work hard, you can become a better person. And I also will argue with you, and I'll counter the point, that you sitting here on your platform telling people they have clinical depression, there's nothing they can do about it, is far more dangerous. Okay, well then, if they have clinical depression...
Why do you misquote me?
No, because you're saying...
You hate being misquoted.
No, you're saying if people have clinical depression,
I never said there's nothing to do about it. They go to a doctor and they get diagnosed and they get help.
Then I would argue the point that if somebody...
complete opposite of what you just said I said.
I would argue the point that if somebody has depression of any kind, whether it's clinical, whether it exists or not, whether they feel depressed or not, whatever, that taking control of their life, taking personal responsibility and working hard is always going to be the positive, best thing they can possibly do for their life going forward.
How positive
and the people
is
going around them. So sitting here saying, I don't believe in clinical depression, you don't believe in depression. No, I don't. I believe that people can take control and fight against things. Right. I believe in personal sovereignty.
Right. Fine.
Good. So we agree.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
Piers, you're on my side. You're afraid of being cancelled along with me.
And this is that little area where you lose me.
No, I don't lose you.
You are, because
Piers,
somebody with your following says
the thousands of people who have emailed me saying, my doctor told me I was clinically depressed and it's a disease that I have got in my brain and I can't be fixed. And I started listening to you and I realized that that's not the case and I can fix my own life and you're the only person who has ever helped me.
Oh, Andrew.
Thousands of people have emailed me that exact email.
If you think you are single-handedly curing people of clinical depression, you are living in cloud cuckoo land.
I am reading the emails of people who I have cured of clinical depression.
We're talking about Alex Jones, right? Who I have a bit of history with. He tried to get me deported from the United States.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. What is your view of Alex Jones?
I think that Alex Jones is a sovereign individual who, very much like the rabid left, deserves a chance to speak on his points of view. I think that the truth on issues is usually somewhere in the middle between two extremes. And
you think Sandy Hook was staged?
I don't know anything about Sandy Hook.
Really? You know he's just been sued by the families for millions and millions.
I have no idea.
You don't know anything about it?
No.
So why would you support someone in public when you know nothing about the most infamous
When
thing
have I
attached to
supported
it?
him in public?
You have supported him in public.
I've been on his podcast.
Yeah, but you said nice things about him.
I say nice things about lots of people.
What do you think of Alex Jones?
I said nice things about you, Piers.
That's fine. so you should. I'm a nice person.
So to sit and say that I've been on a podcast and I say nice things about
But
him
you
means
said
I
you support his right to speak about things like Sandy Hook.
I don't know Sandy Hook. I don't know. And
You know what it was?
It was a mass shooting
of school children.
Okay, but to sit and
he,
it's actually no. Let's stop for a second. Please don't interrupt me. Here's why I know why you're good at your job. First, you interrupt people a lot, which is good. It's a good skill,
Actually,
and then there you go. Prove me right.
But here's exactly
and the timing's good.
Here's exactly what I do. I only interrupt people like you when you either refuse to answer the question or answer a completely different one.
Sure.
And I want to remind you of what the question was.
Fair enough.
Or when you misquote me back, which you've done repeatedly through the interview, where you say, "You see, Piers, you agree with me," and the viewer who's been watching will go, "No, he didn't."
Cool, no problem. The other thing you do is you try and set these traps like now. So you're saying
What's the trap you think I'm setting?
You're saying that I agree with every single point of view a man has.
I literally didn't say that.
You're saying, well, you support Alex Jones.
Why would you misquote me?
Because you're saying you support Alex Jones and you said you've been on his podcast and he said this. I don't know
what do you think of Alex Jones?
I don't know everything he said.
What do you think of him?
I think on his podcast he was cordial. I think he was professional on his podcast. I've also done podcasts with rabid leftists and people who openly hate me.
Is it wrong?
I do a podcast circuit.
Okay.
So and I don't know everything he's ever said.
When somebody like
and I don't know what. So I don't know what you're trying to get me here because I did a podcast.
If you let me get a word in edgeways, I'll tell you.
It's a lame trick. I've done the guy's podcast. I know him well. He was professional and courteous to me. When I meet somebody and they show me respect, I show them back respect. That's what I do, as I did with you.
You respect him?
If somebody shows me respect, I show them respect back.
So if Adolf Hitler showed you respect, you'd respect him back.
That's a stupid question, Piers.
It's not. It's a logical extension of your argument.
No, if in 1931 I was walking through Germany and a man come up to me and said, "Sorry for bumping into you," I'd say, "Sorry, no problem, mate." I'd show respect back. I don't know. What are you trying to say? That I sanction the Holocaust?
You literally just said if somebody respects you, you respect them back.
I say if somebody shows me respect, I show respect back. That's a good way to go through life.
Whoever it is.
If somebody shows me respect and is courteous to me, I'm courteous back. Yeah.
I can
It's a lame trick, Piers, and you're better than this. So let's move on.
Would you?
It's lame. It's lame, and let's move on.
If Vladimir Putin had a podcast, would you go on it?
Sure.
You would? Great. Okay, let me know what you're talking about.
If Vladimir Putin had a podcast, I'd go on it. If Joe Biden had a podcast, I'd go on it. If a feminist has a podcast, I'll go on it. If Piers Morgan has a podcast, I'll go on it. If Alex Jones, I don't see the point you're making. There's no point here. You're digging, but there's nothing to find.
Do you respect women?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
Do you think that 18, 19-year-old women are more attractive than 25-year-old women?
I think there's attractive people. That's a loaded question. I don't know.
Well, it's not really, is it?
I can't.
You know why I'm asking it?
Of course I do, but I can't sit here and
say. For the benefit of viewers who don't know why I'm asking, you said this. In general, this is also one of the reasons men find youth attractive. You want to blow up the internet? I'll blow up the internet right effing now. The reason 18 and 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25-year-olds is because they've been through less dick. People say, "Oh, you can't say that," but yes, I can. A 19-year-old is more attractive than a 26-year-old woman, and I'll tell you why. Because that 26-year-old has talked to more guys, been to the club more times, been effed and dumped more times, more arguments, more mess, more for me to clean up. That is misogyny.
Why?
Because you are encouraging a mindset about 25-year-old women that makes them sound out to be infinitely less desirable than 18, 19-year-olds and having effectively been having too much sex to be taken in a more respectful way.
Well, firstly, even if that was the case, that wouldn't be misogyny.
Well, what did you mean by what you said?
That's not misogyny because it's not anti-women. I'm saying that an 18 or a 19-year-old woman would be more desirable.
It's pretty anti-25-year-old women.
Anti-25-year-old women we can argue, but not misogyny.
Well, that's misogyny then, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Well, being anti any woman at all is misogyny.
Not when I'm saying that women are beautiful and attractive at a certain age and saying the age.
You're saying 18, 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25.
Well, than ageist perhaps, but misogynistic absolutely
is that
not.
But you just accepted it was misogyny.
No, I didn't. You said it was misogyny. I'm telling you, no, it's not.
So you don't think if you're saying slightly hateful things about a 25-year-old...
That's not slightly hateful.
Well, it is. You think you say that to a woman's face if she's 25?
It's not slightly hateful.
So you would go up to a 25-year-old woman and tell her exactly what I've just read out.
Why would I walk up to a random 25-year-old woman?
Because you said it in public on the internet and it's been listened to and watched by millions and millions of young, impressionable boys.
Correct. There was a large panel. There was a conversation. There was hours long of conversation. There were feminists
attacking men for toxic masculinity and attacking me and saying things, and I said things back which were going to antagonize
But I think,
them. Which you've done yourself a bunch of times. They say, he's making women do, well, we found conversations where he gave advice on how to go viral on TikTok. He's making women do TikTok, but he isn't being horrible to them. He's not hitting them. He's not being mean to them. So what can we do? Let's use the Loverboy method. If I was abusive and mean, they wouldn't say Loverboy method. Do you know what Loverboy method means? Being nice. He was nice and polite and kind, and they really liked him as a person, and he told them how to do TikTok.
But that's not what the
He's
Loverboy...
a Loverboy.
That's not,
of course it is.
Andrew, that's not what the Loverboy method is.
Absolutely it is.
The Loverboy method is where perpetrators woo victims with the prospect of a loving relationship until they can be forced into abusive situations or a form of slavery.
This is garbage.
That's actually what it means.
The Loverboy method is being nice to people so that you work together, effectively what they're trying to say here. I was nice to girls who asked me for TikTok advice, and they sang it's the Loverboy method. I didn't beat them into doing TikTok. I didn't force them. I didn't threaten them. In fact, I was like, yeah, you're very pretty. You can be pretty famous.
Was there any element of coercion?
How can there be an element? What does that even mean? Let's be professionals here. What does that even mean?
What do you think coercion means?
I was coerced into this interview. You came along to me and said...
You weren't coerced into this interview.
Yes, I was.
Or don't tell me. The bullying
Pierce.
MSM said, Andrew, you've got to do an interview.
No.
And I'm going to fly all the way to Romania to do it.
You didn't do that.
Favor.
You used the Loverboy method. You said, sir...
The Loverboy method?
Yep. Andrew, this is going to be a very interesting interview. We had a good one last time. You're a nice guy. We have some interesting conversations.
I didn't say you were a nice guy.
I'm going to come along.
Wait a minute.
We're going to make some money from this interview.
Wait a minute.
Money will be made for both sides.
Wait a minute.
You Loverboyed me
Wait
and
a minute.
You stole the profit.
Just to be clear, I've had no conversation with you about this interview. And the conversations I've had with your intermediary were very professional. And I said, I would like to do an interview with you.
Were you nice?
I'm always nice.
Loverboyed. You can't believe you used niceness to Loverboy me because this is a profitable enterprise and I was coerced here.
I make no pretense that I've come all the way from London to Romania to interview you because, yes, I want to do it on my show and that will clearly benefit me and my show.
Am I a full-grown consenting adult who decided to do this show?
Yeah, but you're not being coerced into doing this.
Am I a full-grown consenting adult who decided to do this show?
Yes.
Okay, so I wasn't coerced, correct?
But what's that got to do with what I've asked you?
Because you were nice to me and you're saying that...
I wasn't nice to you. I didn't even talk to you.
Being nice is the Loverboy method, and that adults have no personal responsibility. And
I wasn't
nice to someone, they become your slave.
I wasn't nice to you, and I didn't call you a nice guy.
I feel Loverboyed. I feel Loverboyed.
Do you?
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Because it doesn't suit your agenda. You just dismiss as matrix bull.
No, I'll give you a very simple way I view the world. COVID can't hurt me, so why would I take their injection?
You don't have to.
Point two.
You don't have to
They
take
tried
it.
to make us, including you.
Yeah.
You told people they
You know
should
why?
have the vaccine.
You know why?
And if they don't have it, they shouldn't leave their house.
You know why? Because at the time, the scientists, and by the way, scientists is ever evolving. At the time I said that, the scientists said if you had the vaccine, it would prevent you transmitting the virus.
The Matrix.
That turned out to be wrong.
Because the Matrix
and they
lied.
issued updated advice saying further studies said that actually you could transmit it. And at that point, you know what I did, which you never do? I held my hands up and went, I was wrong because the advice changed and now I would not say the same thing. That is called actually evolving opinions when facts change. That's actually how a civilized democracy works.
Oh, is it? We live in a civilized democracy, do we, sir? I actually would argue that point with you for a very long time. I don't think we live in a civilized democracy. Another point I want to make here, if I had cancer or if I was at threat of a genuine disease which could actually harm me, would the NHS text me 10 times a day trying to get me treatment, or would I be sitting there waiting for 8 months to even get an appointment? They wouldn't care about me and they'd let me die. So the fact that they will endlessly text me and try and beg me to get this poison should have been an alarm bell for anybody with a brain.
Actually, you tweeted a picture of Amanda Holden, very good friend of mine. It's a very harmless picture. She's in a bikini on holiday under a rain shower, looking extraordinarily beautiful.
In a sexual pose.
And you tweeted, you are a wife and a mother and you're far past a teenager. There's no need for this post.
Agreed.
Again, it's just misogynist to say that.
It's not misogynistic.
Why can't a woman of her age, she's just turned 50, why can't a woman of that age actually show off her beautiful body in a nice bikini like that? What's wrong with that?
You can call me crazy. You can call me misogynistic, but I think once you reach the ripe age of 50, any woman should not be interested in thirst trapping on Instagram. I think she has bigger responsibilities. I'm sure she's a very intelligent lady and she's done amazing things. She's famous. She's obviously very capable. And I think she could do things more interesting than standing around trying to thirst trap on Instagram like she's 18.
Because
I think she's above it. I wasn't insulting her. I was reminding her that she's actually such a fantastic person. She's done such amazing things in her life and she's so achieved that she's actually above thirst trapping. I was reminding her of her worth because
as a feminist, we're all feminists here, right? We all believe in women empowerment. I'm reminding her of her worth.
Are you a feminist?
Sure.
Well, you're not, though, are you?
I believe in feminine empowerment, and I think feminine empowerment is in. Yes, I do. And feminine empowerment is in modesty. Modesty is empowering for females.
You only believe in
taking your clothes off for men on Instagram is not empowering. It's empowering when you say, no man but my husband can see my body. That is female empowerment. And I was reminding her of that. I was reminding her of her ripe age and her intellect.
Well, if you're talking about the January 6th riots, they were riots where people died.
Well, it's interesting.
They're not peaceful protests.
Well, it's interesting because the world is actually very nuanced. And what I tried...
Well, that wasn't nuanced. That was a huge mob of
what
people
I tried to do
attacking the US Capitol.
Well, what I tried to do is I try to look at a broad spectrum of events, and I try to put things into a nuanced view, and I don't try and take a instant black or white point of view on things. And the fact that BLM were rioting and destroying the entire nation for months and during that exact week, and then some other people got together with an opposing political view and are facing serious prison time for doing less damage than BLM did. I find that kind of scary because
people did die.
Well, in a democratic nation, we should all be the same under the law.
Andrew, just to be clear, on January the 6th, people died.
People died during BLM.
When you have a hot girl with you and you introduce her to somebody and you know she's hot, it's like yeah, she's with me.
It's status. It's a status. So having hot women is a status.
You ever felt that? Yeah. Why are you laughing?
Because he was. If I run through 10 chicks, I get to know I've ruined 10 wives. Guaranteed 10 divorces. Guaranteed. Because whoever she marries, she will not be happy with because she will dream of me for the rest of her fucking human existence. Guaranteed.
Come here, everyone. I'm going to talk. Sorry about that. They have to talk about some business.
I'm in the area, but I'm going
Yeah, boys. Take my girl and let's bring me the champagne. Yeah. Nice. Where the fuck's that guy's from?
Has the chick ever drove your Bugatti?
Fuck, what the fuck? Who is this guy?
That's Cap.
No!
I've asked you a question, and I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you a question.
Correct, but you're not the boss here, because I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you the questions.
Correctly, and I'm telling you.
You get to decide the answers.
No, we're equal here. I've allowed you into my house. You don't come here with a position of authority. I'm doing you the favor as Legacy Media, giving you relevance by speaking to you, and I'm telling you now, this Sophie, which the BBC has invented, which there's no face of, nobody knows who she is.
The BBC did not invent
Of
her.
course not, and because you never invent anything. And she's not filed criminal charges against me. What are we talking about here?
The chief executive of Rape Crisis naming you individually as spreading a dangerous ideology of misogynistic rape culture.
Absolute.
It's the comments you make that are leading people to say things like this.
Absolute garbage.
National organisations who are saying that, are blaming you for increasing levels of misogyny. Schools that are saying they are having increased incidents of girls being attacked, of female teachers being harassed.
If that was
by
true,
pupils because of you and your teaching and your influence.
That's absolute garbage. I have never, ever encouraged a student to attack a teacher, male or female, ever. I preach hard work, discipline. I'm an athlete. I preach anti-drug. I preach religion. I preach no alcohol. I preach no knife crime. Every single problem with modern society, I'm against.
But
I'm teaching young men to be disciplined, to be diligent, to listen, to train, to work hard, to be exactly like me. And I'm saying that if men grew up like me, which are hardworking and diligent and some emotional control and stoic, we're going to have a better society, not a worse society. To sit here and say that schools in England, which is a failing nation, which has knife crime going through the roof, violence going through the roof, men's mental health going through the roof, and they're going to all blame me because I appeared on the internet 1 year ago.
You sell an image of
is
success.
Disingenuous. It's disingenuous.
You
and
sell
also,
an image of financial success with a Bugatti and a cigar, but it comes with a side order of misogyny.
How does having a Bugatti and a cigar come with misogyny?
You teach that a woman, if a woman comes home and accuses you of cheating, you should hit her with a machete, shove her up.
Is that what I teach?
That's what you say.
No, if you actually watch the clip, it will be about the woman attacking me with a machete. As usual, you've not watched the video, taken it out of context, flipped it, and attempted to attack me with a small excerpt. Let me tell you something, Lucy. I'm sure you're a very nice person. I'm sure you're a fantastic person. But if I were to take everything you've ever said online and just take small excerpts out of context, I could make you look like a misogynist. I guarantee it. In fact, I might actually do that. And then you're going to sit here and say, oh, I'm a misogynist because my clips have been taken out of context. If you refuse to watch anything at length and understand it, then that's what's going to happen.
Me, one of the most famous people in the world, who's been vilified by the legacy media and placed all over the internet, while everyone has attacked me from every single angle, while federal agencies from multiple countries have called over 2,000 women who know me, we stand here with 0 new accusations since my arrest. 0. If you took any famous person, any man of substantial wealth, and you called 2,000 women who knew him, he'd find an ex-girlfriend is upset, somebody who wants money who's upset. They called 2,000 people who knew me and could not find a single woman to make a new complaint. The only complaints they have against me are the initial complaints, which we can prove are lies, and that's where it stands. So I'm not going to sit here and allow you to pretend that I'm some kind of evil predator, when actually I'd argue the fact that people who've been investigated to the level I've been investigated to, if you were to take the average man on the street and investigate his entire life for 14 months, call everyone who's ever known him, and vilify him in the media, and encourage people to come forward for money, and you try to contact every ex-girlfriend he's ever had.
Would come forward and accuse those people of rape and accuse those
I
people
think
of
that you would have a lot more.
manipulation.
I think you would have a lot more flack than I've got. I'm actually such a nice person that
The
I've never had
BBC
anyone
has
come
spoken
at.
to somebody since your arrest who says exactly those things, that with you it's all manipulation, there's an ulterior
Is this
motive
Sophie?
to everything.
Is this
you've
Sophie?
done.
Oh, it's Sophie, the fake name, no face,
I was so
the
intent
story
on
that was
wanting
invented.
to please him and wanting him to be happy that I was just kind of, yeah, okay, do whatever you want.
And what is she
That's
accused?
what
Has
I-
she accused me of a crime? This imaginary Sophie? And if you were to find any single other man on earth and try and analyze his life forensically to the level they've done mine, you would find genuine damage to people. I don't hurt people.
It's not just
Thousands of women have
allegations,
come out in my
though, is it?
defense. Thousands of women have come out in my defense, and you've not mentioned that. Thousands of women come out in my defense.
Because the problem is when women accuse you of serious crimes.
Okay.
And emotional
But
manipulation.
let's agree that
That's
thousands
the
of women.
problem.
Let's agree that
It's
thousands.
not the problem that some people say you haven't done it. It's a problem that some people say you have.
Thousands of women come out in my defense, and as we stand right now, we have an open criminal investigation. The people who are involved in the criminal investigation are saying that we're not victims of anything. Andrew's fine, he's never hurt us. You're saying, no, I have the opposite to that. I have to counter that. I have someone called Sophie with no face, a fake name, who we've invented, and she's not accusing you of anything criminal. So I don't see the whole point
You
you're trying to
say
make
you
here.
manipulate women, they say you manipulate women. Why wouldn't people think you do?
I'm not here. Do you think I'm manipulating you?
I'm asking you about the testimony you've given on your website and the testimony
No,
women have given
you've
about
printed
you.
something off that you found on Reddit, and you're going to sit here and say that that makes me a bad person. And I'm saying that you should know better as a journalist and do some proper journalism. Let's investigate the fact that
I
thousands.
think you should answer my questions
I am.
properly.
I already have, and we should move on. She's just trying to start an argument. Because you have no time to actually,
You say it's
because you
okay
have no
for
time
men
to
and
actually
it's
watch
not
my
okay
content,
for
because you have
women.
no time to actually watch my content at length and understand what I'm saying, you just come here with a small snippet which has been provided to you on a
Saying it
piece of
3
paper.
times doesn't make it true.
No, completely. You don't have a clue what I say or what I talk about. You never watch my content. You have small pieces of paper, small clips on a piece of paper, and you're trying to pretend I've said evil things. And then you're going to say I'm the most dangerous man in the world, which is truly laughable.
You said that, not me.
Okay. Do you believe I'm the most
say-
dangerous man in the world, Lucy?
I'm not answering your questions.
Well then we need to change the dynamic of this interview because, and I'll make this clear, I allowed you into my home. I'm doing you a favor, giving you the first interview I'm giving to the public. You don't come here with a position of authority. You're not the police. I don't respect the BBC. I don't know you. You do not come here with a position of authority over me. We are equals. We are people. We're citizens of the world, and we sit here as equals. And I see you as my equal. And if you ask me questions, I can ask you questions back. For you to come here and sit down and pretend you're the Gestapo and that you don't have to answer my questions is disingenuous
This
because I don't owe you
me
anything.
asking questions and you answer
But I don't owe, no,
however you want.
this is a conversation, and I don't owe you any degree of authority over me. So let's make that clear. And that doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or from the BBC or the CNN. I'm here to
You
answer
have
your
said-
questions and be honest with you and do you a favor.
Great.
And I'm doing you a favor, but you come here with loaded questions, you're trying to paint a narrative of me which is negative,
I'm asking you
And
about
that's
things
fine.
you've said that people are concerned about.
and that's fine,
You
but
have
you're not going to
said
sit here and
a
say you don't
woman's-
answer my questions because you're not above me.
The National Police Chiefs League for Violence Against Women, the NSPCC, Rape Crisis, Safer Schools, they are all naming you as being behind an epidemic of misogyny, even amongst primary school children.
The idea that I made primary school children misogynistic because I own a nice car, is that
It's not
your
the nice car,
argument?
It's the misogyny that comes along with it.
Oh, owning a nice car is misogynist.
No, it's the
Got it.
misogyny that comes along with it.
How does misogyny come along with owning a nice car?
Because you have an image of financial
I'm glad you're answering my
success.
questions now. We finally got the
You
dynamic.
have
right.
an image of financial
She's answering my
success.
questions as she should.
Excuse me. You have an image of financial success, but it comes along with attitudes towards women that are really problematic.
My attitudes towards women is that women should be protected and provided for, and I've said that at length. In fact, I've said that over 50 times online, you never mention it. I say that my girlfriend doesn't have to work unless she wants to, I take care of her, I die to protect a woman. I've talked about how I've stood up and faced a knife to protect a woman.
And in return, you want authority over her in the way you have over a child or a dog.
Absolutely not. I've said that women should be protected and provided for.
And in return, you want authority over her, because if you have responsibility for someone like a child or a dog, you say, you have authority over them.
If you want to go down this argument, we'll go down this nuanced argument. I said that if I have responsibility for her safety, I should have a degree of authority over her safety. Meaning, and let me explain my point. If I'm the one who has to fight and die to protect her, I'm the one who decides how we walk home. I'm the one who decides the route we take. Because it's unfair for her to say, I want to walk through the most dangerous neighborhood in the world, but you have to face the knives. That's what I've said. And then you're going to sit here and pretend that I'm trying to treat women like dogs, which is garbage. Every single man in the world who loves this woman understands that he has to protect her. And every single woman in the world likes the idea of a man who would protect her. If you were to say to most women home right now, do you want your husband to protect you in a violent attack? They'd say, yeah, of course. Nothing I've said is misogynistic.
If you said to most women, would you want to lose authority in the relationship, to not be treated as a free and legal equal to your partner?
I didn't say that. I said I need to have authority over the route we walk home.
When you compare women and the authority over women that you believe you should have to having authority over a child or a dog, it's not the same, because a woman is a free, legal adult.
Correct.
You're equal.
Free, legal adult, my equal. But if I had a girlfriend and we were walking home late at night, and I said, let's not walk down that area, it's a bad area, I have to protect you if anything happens, I want to take the long way. And she said, no, I have to walk this way, even though it's the most dangerous route, I must.
Then what?
Then I would say, you're welcome to, you could do it, you're a free and legal equal, but I'm not going to walk with you and protect you. I think that I should be able to decide the route. It's genuinely sad that when the BBC has a chance to finally interview me at the end of all this Matrix attack, that they don't come here with any kind of genuine openness to try and understand my influence over the world, or the things I push, or what I'm trying to teach the world, or why I'm a good influence on the world, because I am a massively good influence. Instead, they come here with pieces of paper, with printed out excerpts from 5-year-old podcasts, taken out of context, to attempt the same Matrix attack on me, which has been attempted endlessly. Every single person in Legacy Media has already tried this, and it doesn't work. I really encourage you to read the comment section on YouTube when this goes on YouTube, and you will see that nobody believes a word you're saying.
And you've said that you've invited us into your house.
Correct.
We're here because you're under house arrest.
Correct.
If you were free to leave, we would have negotiated a more neutral setting.
Don't you think, as the BBC, it would be very interesting to come here and discuss the fact that I was put in a dungeon for 92 days and then locked in house arrest without charge? Don't you think that's a far more interesting conversation than old YouTube snippets? Don't you think that would be interesting?
You're here under house arrest because there's an ongoing investigation into rape and human trafficking allegations against you.
Correct. I've been incarcerated without charge. And don't you think
the rape allegation
it's been dropped?
Has been incarcerated for.
Correct. So I'm incarcerated without charge, and I think that would be a far more interesting conversation than, I guess, Julian Assange is incarcerated without charge, and nobody's interested in that either. So if you actually wanted to do some genuine journalism and investigation, we could talk about the fact that an innocent man who is yet to be charged with a crime has had his liberty deprived of him. And I think that would be a far more interesting angle than talking about me being the most dangerous man in the world because I own a car.
Andrew Tate can handle these situations and speak so entertainingly and impressively, like very few in the world. Also, if you made it this far into the video and you enjoy not just my commentary, but what I show you during my commentary, please comment down below. Love the commentary. We gotta show that in the comments, please. Because I sure do. I want to get into some analysis for a few minutes here, and you guys can enjoy the view. I thought it was really impressive how many times he handles these tough situations with people like Piers Morgan and people like, I think Lacey Stevenson is the BBC reporter, because they're professionals. If you see the way Piers Morgan comes at him, the way that the BBC reporter comes at him, it's calculated, prepared statements thought to with the idea and plan of not only putting him in this corner where he contradicts himself or he says something that can get him more canceled or be more offensive, but it can also be to get him on his nerves and get him out of his element by getting him so irritated. Because, like, especially the Piers Morgan stuff, and especially the way the BBC lady was acting, they're just like waiting, and they're nitpicking all the little things he's saying. Well, I never said that. You can't claim that about me. And he's like, I don't know how he does it, especially with the pressure of being recorded, knowing everything he says is going to be used against him. It's very impressive. Maybe he can not get so stressed out by it because he de-stresses when he's in these situations that I'm showing you right now. Smart move, Andrew. But it's very impressive, especially the BBC thing. She walked out on him so disrespectfully at the end of the interview, didn't even shake his hand. And they came to his house claiming that they were going to ask him all these pre-listed questions about his jail time, what it was really like. But no, just attack mode, attack mode, attack mode, attack mode. And super disappointing. But man, he handles it like a pro. I don't know how he has so few moments where he says or and that he always has an answer. It tells you how much he practices it. And also I could see it being a problem where he doesn't really, maybe he's so convinced that what he thinks is right that it could be hard to get him to see maybe when he's wrong in situations because he's so constantly rehearsing his logic and practicing it with speeches, with interviews, that he's dead set in his logic. Even if there's moments maybe where he's like, you know, maybe I'm a little out of bounds here. But they try to make him seem like he's so out of bounds that you could tell it's just a calculated move to try to, they're getting from not only their bosses, but maybe their company's bosses are getting orders from powerful shareholders, powerful politicians to get him that they need to follow these orders to try to attack Andrew Tate, bring down his influence, and cancel him again, even though he's kind of already canceled. But it's definitely a calculated attack that goes on, and it's super disappointing to really see, but it's amazing to see just how he handles it time and time and time again. If you're still watching this and maybe want to see another Andrew Tate 1 hour montage, you can let me know down below maybe what clips I missed that you really liked. I tried to, you know, this is very tough to put together. I tried to grab a lot of them that I knew about, that were entertaining, that were interesting. I tried to do my best, but please let me know. If you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. I plan on coming out with a lot more 1 hour montages. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. It's Sean Daniel here. I'm out.